Hello and welcome back to another popcorn chat. I hope you guys are doing well. In this video, I'm going to speak to you about Caroline Farjar's latest film, The Substance. Off the top, I just want to say that I've not felt like this during a film for a long time. Probably since Titan. The world building of this film is so visual and so tangible. There's a great opening scene in this that just completely sets up the character of Elizabeth Sparkle, and you get to sort of know where she's at in her life within that sort of opening sequence. And I think it was a really clever way of doing it rather than a little montage, we've seen time and time again. On top of that, the establishing of the substance itself is excellent. The way in which they explain the rules and the repercussions if you don't follow the rules is really integral to the plot itself. So if we can understand as an audience, that's a massive thing as well. But it's interesting how sometimes the characters understand it, but they kind of twist the rules in order to get what they want. I very quickly realised how little dialogue was in this film, and I really liked that. It was very much a show, don't tell kind of film. It really heavily relied on the performances of its actors, and I think having people such as Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley really helped to sort of, carry this film. And if it wasn't for their performances, you could have a really sort of dud film. But because of the actors in which Coralie chose, it's amazing. I think that's something with a French director bringing in a fresh vision in terms of filmmaking, using the ability of sight and sound to tell her story and not so much rely on dialogue like a lot of Hollywood films. It's really refreshing to see, and I think it's sort of the kick up the bum that I think mainstream Hollywood needs to see and take note of. I just want to circle back round to performances from our main two lead actresses. I thought they were amazing. They were such a dynamic duo, even though they're not on screen a lot of the time together. The way in which they flow, and you can understand that this is the same person. The trust was there from the director and their actors, and I think that really helped to tell this story by having that element of trust, and it just made it so much more submersive in terms of a film. I saw Dennis Quaid in the trailer. I think he plays a perfect kind of smarmy producer that's very aptly named Harvey. I did notice that. Even though he doesn't have much time on screen, what he's able to do is really sort of draw you in and make you feel really gross and creeped out by his mannerisms and his whole demeanour. So I think Dennis Quaid was perfectly cast for that character. There was some great cinematography throughout, and I think that's essential because of that minimal dialogue. There's a lot of visual sort of storytelling. You can sort of deduce a lot of things. It doesn't treat the audience as dumb. And I think the bright colours and the set design all add into the cinematography. And I think that Coralie just has a clear vision, and it's so well put together on screen in the edit. And I think that comes down from the set designs, the cinematography, the framing, having characters right up against the camera on these wide lenses feels so sort of claustrophobic. Feels really intense, and everything has a motive in this film. The shots, the movements, the lack of movement, it all plays a part. And I think it's just really inspiring to see filmmaking like this, and I just feel like it goes amiss a lot of the time in the mainstream. The sound design really added to this experience. You'll hear that motif on the trailer a lot through this film, and anytime the substance comes up on screen, that is sort of struck through, and it sort of puts you on edge, really. Something bad might happen. So I think that, and the very sort of techno heavy music as well was great. I think it all added to the experience, and the kind of driving force and the Hollywood glitz and glam of it all really sort of encapsulated it. So it was very much a sensory experience. You're hitting the sort of visuals, the sound. There's a lot to sort of grasp onto in this film. One of my main issues with the film was maybe the runtime. I think it feels a little bit too long by about 15 or 20 minutes. It sort of dips a little bit for me in the sort of latter half of that second act. I think there could have been a bit quicker pacing. You could have cut some parts just to sort of speed that up, because I think horrors a lot of the time tend to sort of lend themselves to a 90-minute film. This was over that. So for me, I felt that a little bit. I know some people haven't, but for me, I think some of that sort of story could have been cut back, and the repetition between the sort of two people. And I think I could have made an even better film by being a little bit tighter, and I would have really, really thought this was perfect. If you're a fan of a Cronenberg film, be it David or Brandon, you're going to enjoy this, because there's a lot of those sort of horror elements, body gore, practical effects. You're going to love it. But I think anyone who has an interest within sort of the Americana, the Hollywood, what's this kind of ideal sort of image of a woman, whether it's in day-to-day or, on the screen. And I think this is a film that everyone should go and see, especially in the cinema, because you will want to hear those reactions. If someone programs a double bill of Titan and The Substance, I will be there front and centre. Thank you so much for watching this review of The Substance. If you've seen the film, do let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. If you haven't, hopefully I've tempted you to go and see it. Go and sort of see these amazing performances of women, directed by women on the big screen. Go into it. If you're a horror fan, it's not one to miss. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon in another popcorn chat.